Good afternoon and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I'm Ayodeji Makinde. The FCT Mega Rice Pyramids, considered as the largest in Africa, has been unveiled by President Muhammadu Buhari. It is a product of his administration's Rice Revolution Drive, powered by the Anchor Borrowers Program of the Central Bank of Nigeria. The president described the pyramids as a clear indication that the homegrown policies targeted at securing food for all Nigerians is achieving the desired objectives. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has the details.
The mega pyramids, 13 in number, were built with 1 million bags of paddy rice planted and harvested from states across Nigeria under the Anchor Borrowers Program of the Central Bank of Nigeria. They are a fraction of those submitted by rice farmers as repayment of loans collected under the program, symbolizing their commitment to its sustainability. From here, these bags of paddy rice will be moving to rice millers, and the government will track the release of their output to the market as it strives to not only manage inflation but also grow the rice value chain.
These
Can we get a tape, a masking tape also to hold it? It has gone off.
With the right leadership and vision, we can meet any and every challenge in our country. And this must become our preeminent preoccupation going forward.
Mr. President, there is no adjective that is strong enough to thank you for what you have done to this country. And Nigerians will continue to appreciate your presence as the president of this country to the end of time.
For President Muhammadu Buhari, the significance of the event can be better understood by looking at the various economic strides achieved by his administration through agriculture. He said the Anchor Borrowers Program in particular has supported over 4.8 million smallholder farmers for the production of 23 agricultural commodities, including rice, whose production has increased to over 9 million metric tons per annum.
Our gathering here today is no doubt a testament to the fact that the Anchor Borrowers Program is working. Our country is making steady and assured progress towards self-sufficiency in food production. As a critical policy of the government, the Anchor Borrowers Program is expected to catalyze the agricultural productive base of the nation, which is a major part of our economic plan to uplift the economy, create jobs, and conserve foreign exchange.
The president appreciated the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and the leadership of the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria for the giant strides achieved in the Rice Revolution Program, hoping that the FCT Mega Rice Pyramids will just be the first of many to be unveiled this year across Nigeria.
And it is my desired hope and expectation that other agricultural commodity associations that are yet to participate under the Anchor Borrowers Program will emulate the Rice Farmers Association of Nigeria in supporting our administration's drive for food self-sufficiency.
Chairman, Nigeria Governors Forum, and some of his colleagues took turns to appreciate President Muhammadu Buhari for his genuine commitment towards achieving food sufficiency and security in the country.
And it was clear to us that agriculture was going to be the centerpiece of the Buhari revolution.
What is not seen here is those millions of households that today are richer and more prosperous courtesy of your rice revolution.
If you didn't do what you did, starting from 2015, it would have been a very difficult situation for our people because hunger breeds anger.
Awards were later presented by President Muhammadu Buhari to the governors and others for their significant contributions to the Rice Revolution program in Nigeria. In Abuja, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The trial of the acclaimed leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, at the Federal High Court, Abuja, has been adjourned to Wednesday, 19th January. Presiding Judge Justice Binta Iyako gave the order this Tuesday in Abuja. Dele Atumbi reports.
At the resumed trial of the acclaimed leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, the prosecution counsel, Shuaibu Labaran, took the leave of the court for the amendment of the 7-count charge to 15-count charge. He informed the court that the amended charge has equally been served on the defendant. With the amended counts charge, the defendant was expected to take a fresh plea. Counsel to the defendant, Michael Zekome SEN, objected to the defendant taking a plea on the count charge that was just served on the defense 24 hours before trial. He pleaded with the court for time for the defendant to discuss with his counsel on the amended charge. The objection stalled the trial, which was to continue with the plea of the defendant for the prosecution to open his case. The defendant's inability to take his plea made the court to adjourn the matter.
The mere refusal to take the plea today is one of the several antics employed by the defendant to delay this case. But I want to assure you that the 3 days given by this honorable court shall be properly utilized.
I've now consulted my client, Nnamdi Kanu, as regards the 15-count charge. Some of the statements made by Nnamdi Kanu that were also not clear, which I pointed out to the court. The prosecution have been able to give me another clearer copy, which is legible.
Outside the premises of the court, a group called One Nigeria staged a peaceful rally advocating speedy trial and ensuring that justice is served in the matter.
We are saying that we are also encouraging the judges to speed up the trial and ensure that he is giving his judgment so that we can turn another page in the history of this nation. We are tired of coming to court every day.
In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Let's move on to some legislative matters. Senate says it will intensify its oversight on budget implementation so as to ensure increased revenue generation and put a stop to borrowing. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, stated this when he welcomed his colleagues back from the Christmas and New Year holidays. Senator Lawan noted that the signing of the 2022 budget by President Muhammadu Buhari in December 2021 will ensure its early implementation and provide enough time for legislative oversight. Senator Lawan stressed that the National Assembly will give expeditious attention to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill after due consultations.
And the executive arm of government for working tirelessly to maintain the instituted January to December budget cycle. The Senate will develop a strategy of engagement with revenue-generating agencies on how to make them achieve their targets and generate more revenues in 2022. Distinguished colleagues, the Senate postponed discussions on the consideration of response of Mr. President on the Electoral Act 2010 Amendment Bill to enable us to consult with our counterparts in the House of Representatives and also consult our constituents.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has written to the Senate seeking the confirmation of Namaso Ekanem and Mahmoud Magaji for appointment as members of the Federal Judicial Service Commission and Professor Mansur Bindawa as non-executive commissioner of the Nigeria Communications Commission. In the related developments, the House of Representatives is to reintroduce the Electoral Act Amendment Bill Wednesday to address concerns raised in particular the provision for direct primaries to nominate candidates to contest elective positions. The president had in December 2021 communicated to the National Assembly on his decision withholding assent to the bill detailing the security, financial and legal implications of the provision. At its first sitting after the Christmas and New Year break, House Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila, while addressing members, says with less than 13 months to general election, the House will work quickly to give Nigerians a credible electoral law.
Including a direct primary mandate in the law would have forced political parties to properly register their members within the shortest possible time. This would have been the singular most significant reform of our political primary system, party system, in a generation.
The Speaker equally emphasized the commitment of lawmakers to amend the Constitution by addressing long-standing areas of disagreement, adding that the House hopes to forward the first set of amendments to state assemblies before the end of February 2022. The timetable and schedule of activities for the 2023 general elections will be released once the Electoral Act Amendment Bill is signed into law. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu gave the assurance during a meeting with chairmen of political parties ahead of the 2023 general elections in Abuja. Mie Ogidi reports.
A new legal framework is central to the integrity of official elections and the advancement of Nigeria's democracy.
The Civil Society Situation Room noted that President Muhammadu Buhari has indicated his commitment to assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill if the National Assembly expunged the contentious clause and retransmit it for assent. It therefore urged the National Assembly to leverage the opportunity to salvage the electoral bill by taking prompt legislative action to conclude the amendment process.
The National Assembly should ensure proper scrutiny of the bill to resolve all drafting errors and cross-referencing gaps before retransmitting the bill for presidential assent.
There is no time, and 2023 elections carry the hopes of many.
The Civil Society Situation Room emphasized that the successful conduct of any election is predicated on the certainty and clarity of the election legal framework, amongst other factors. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Reports just reaching us indicates that Chairman APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee and Governor of Yobe State, Mai Malabuni, has declared February 26 as date for the APC National Convention. This was contained in a statement signed by the DG Press and Media Affairs to the Governor, Maman Mohammed. We'll bring you more details in a subsequent news bulletin. As the National Assembly resumes this Tuesday, Civil Society Situation Room believes that Nigerians expect that the conclusion of the electoral amendment process will feature as a priority. Timothy Yusuf reports.
A new legal framework is central to the integrity of official elections and the advancement of Nigeria's democracy.
The Civil Society Situation Room noted that President Muhammadu Buhari has indicated his commitment to assent to the Electoral Amendment Bill if the National Assembly expunged the contentious clause and retransmit it for assent. It therefore urged the National Assembly to leverage the opportunity to salvage the electoral bill by taking prompt legislative action to conclude the amendment process.
The National Assembly should ensure proper scrutiny of the bill to resolve all drafting errors and cross-referencing gaps before retransmitting the bill for presidential assent.
There is no time, and 2023 elections carry the hopes of many.
The Civil Society Situation Room emphasized that the successful conduct of any election is predicated on the certainty and clarity of the election legal framework, amongst other factors. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
At the moment, we have to take a look at the activities which gathered momentum ahead of the 2023 general elections. Nigerian women are firming up strategies in ensuring that the All Progressives Congress APC retains its pride of leadership. This was the thrust of discussion at the maiden edition of the APC Women Conference, where Elizabeth Omori, of course, will be bringing us details concerning that event which held moments ago in Abuja. But still on the 2022 APC Progressives Women Congress, we're now being joined by the Commissioner for Solid Minerals in Kwara State, Adenike Harriet Afolabi Oshatimei, for the historic event. So welcome to Nationwide, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ayodeji Makinde.
It's really interesting to have you in the studio. This is the first time women are holding a political conference of this nature in Nigeria, and we believe this will serve as a game changer in women's participation in politics. What's your opinion?
Yeah, that's the truth. Because before now, you agree with me that women participation in politics has been very low. Even presently, we have just 4 senators in the country as women. We have 10 House of Representatives as women. We have just 2 deputy governors as women. In fact, in some states, you do not even have a single woman as a member of the House of Assembly. So having one voice this time around, women coming together to unite themselves in a way forward, looking at a way forward towards the 2023 election, it's a good step in the right direction. And I think all thanks to women of focus that we have in the country. Some women have stood up. We have some governors as well, some he for she governors that have also stood up and said, yes, we have women of substance in this country. We have women that have the content. And all we need is the content. So we have women that can actually push this forward, this country forward. So having this program is actually a right step in the right direction. And I will say kudos to the organizers of this program. I'll say kudos to our dear president that has made this work. I'll say kudos to our mother, the wife of the president, Her Excellency, Aisha Buhari. I'll say kudos to our own leader, the women leader of the party. She's a very intelligent woman, a woman of substance that has made this work happen. And I believe that with this Congress that we've just had, 2023, definitely there'll be a change.
Now that the First Lady of Nigeria, Aisha Muhammadu Buhari, is leading the charge to the next level as she has rolled out the objectives, how do you intend to achieve your mandate and what is the strategy?
Okay, the strategy this time around, the whole idea, we have a 6-point objective and we have an agenda. The whole idea is how can we get to the grassroots? We have to communicate this to the grassroots. People have to be involved. Women are actually supposed to be on the decision table because we have a lot of women that has a lot of content. They can bring it to the table. We shouldn't just be back there. We are the ones being used during elections, and when it comes to decision making, you don't find us there. Why should that happen? And we have actually tested. We have women in the business, in the industry that are doing so well. We have a few women, even in politics, that are doing so well. Let's go out of Nigeria. Let's go to a country like Liberia. We had the first female president, and she did so well. We now have a first vice president, and she's doing so well. So why can't we do that as well in Nigeria? I believe it is the right step in the right direction, and I'm sure that we'll definitely get that.
Now, this is really getting interesting because, like you mentioned earlier, we've seen governors, we saw Atiku Bagudu of Kebbi State out there also lending his voice to the vision. But how much support are women getting from government and men in politics beyond some of these governors that we've seen, especially as the 2023 general elections are fast approaching?
That's the essence of this program.
All right, tell us more.
Yeah. We intend to meet the men that we have substance. We have it. We can give it. Women are dynamic. Women can multitask. Women are capable. Women are born leaders. I am a leader. Every woman should tell ourselves that I am a leader. We can do it. And what we intend to do is to meet, fortunately for us this time around, we have a number of them that are he for she governors. Like for instance, I'll talk about my own state where I'm from, Kwara State. We actually led the pack when it comes to this. I'm telling you for a fact, because what we're doing now, we had it last year, and we have even passed it into a law. It's been signed by a governor. Gender equality. Gender equality. We are not less than men. In terms of content, try us, we will do it. And I'm sure with this conference that we've had and subsequent programs that we'll be having, because this is just the beginning, it has a lot of programs there are lots of programs that will be done before or prior 2023. I'm very sure that come 2023, we will have more women in politics and the story will change in terms of development and growth of the country.
Obviously, we expect to see more in the build-up to the 2023 general elections. Adenike Harriet Afolabi Oshatimei, the Commissioner for Solid Minerals in Kwara State, I'd like to thank you for coming on Nationwide today.
Thank you very much.
Of course, I'll be conversing with her there on the opening ceremony of the 2022 Progressives Women Congress. Let's move on Nationwide and tell you that the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2023 general elections, surely we expect to see more women there, will be released once the Electoral Act Amendment Bill is signed into law. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu gave the assurance during a meeting with chairmen of political parties ahead of the 2023 general elections in Abuja. Let's now rejoin Mayor Ogidi.
Unexpected smile and handshake. New Year, new Inter-Party Advisory Council Chairman. January 18 political parties meeting because 2022 is politically loaded.
The 2023 general election is just 396 days away. All the critical preparations must be concluded this year.
FCT Council polls, Ekiti and Osun governorship elections on the lineup, but getting it right is a shared responsibility.
In the cases of Ekiti and Osun governorship elections, any primaries conducted outside the two states will not be monitored by the Commission, and their outcomes will not be accepted.
We are in this regard anticipating more superlative performance by INEC in the remaining off-season elections, beginning with the council elections in the Federal Capital Territory.
Planning early is good, but the uncertainties around the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021 still a worry. However, hope is still alive.
The Commission is encouraged by the Senate President's assurance to give priority attention to the bill and the commitment by the President to assent to the bill as soon as the issue of mode of primaries by political parties is resolved. As soon as it is signed into law, the Commission will quickly release the timetable and schedule of activities for the 2023 general elections based on the new law.
While the timetable for the 2023 general election is at the mercy of the new electoral law, distribution of permanent voters' cards will be on soon because INEC is on the final stage of cleaning up the database. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
It's now time to go to the Center of Excellence, our Lagos studio, where Adeola is standing by for reports, especially on the UN Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework and more. Good evening, Adeola.
Evening, Ayo. Good to see you. Nigeria is set to formulate a cooperation framework that will aid effective implementation of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals across the country. This was evident at a stakeholders consultative meeting on Sustainable Development Goals organized by the United Nations office in Lagos. Musa Toliat has details.
Given the United Nations' ambition of actualizing the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda and the urgency of its timeline, the General Assembly resolution recognizes the Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework as the most important instrument for planning and implementation of the UN development activities at country level. Stakeholders are therefore sharing ideas and strategies aimed at coming up with formulation of a 4-year Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework to drive the implementation of SDGs across the country.
A common country analysis has been undertaken, and that provides a good background and understanding of the status of things in the country as far as the various sectors of the economy are concerned.
Is to take the national development plan of the country and then try to integrate its vision, its outcome process, and its perception of where the country wants to be.
Issues around conflict management and resolution as it affects women and children were also placed on the front burner of discourse.
IOM and working with the government as part of, the UN, as part of the UN's response to conflict in the north and peace building within this UN framework, within what previously is the partnership framework, and will be part of the Sustainable Development Cooperation Framework.
The Sustainable Cooperation Framework will be implemented between 2023 and 2027 in Lagos. Musa Toliad, NTA News.
Marine biodiversity is enormous, and scientists have described it as largely untapped biological reaches. Over the years, however, many nations are beginning to explore the blue economy for sustainable development. Experts say if well explored, marine resources can assist in the economic diversification plans of the nation. How can this be effectively achieved? Annie Daniels will tell us.
Nigeria sits on the Gulf of Guinea with a coastline of 853 kilometers and landmass of 923,768 square kilometers, 12 nautical miles of territorial waters, 24 nautical miles of contiguous zone, and 200 nautical miles of exclusive economic zones. The nation also has extensive mangroves, creeks, coastal rivers, and other marine resources, including close proximity to the Atlantic Ocean coastline. These features place the country in a strategic position to benefit maximally from marine trade and other aspects of blue economy.
Coming up with a lot of programs, development programs, including livelihood programs for coastal communities, making sure that everybody is included, in sustainable livelihood. When I say sustainable livelihood, like the fishermen, for example, training them on how to fish efficiently and effectively.
Studies by World Wide Fund International Conservation Group estimates total ocean assets such as coral reefs, mangroves, shipping lanes, and carbon absorption to worth about $24 trillion, about 10 times its annual output. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
And that's it from Lagos. We'll take our first break, and when we return, Ayo will continue with Nationwide. To stay with us.
The Nigerian aviation sector is rapidly growing with the construction of new international airport terminals in several regions of the country. The new Murtala Mohammed International Airport has an estimated passenger increase of 30 million annually and 15 million for Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Malam Aminu Kanu International Airport is also expected to open new frontiers for the region with more travel capacity for the annual Hajj, while the new Akanu Ibiam International Airport, Enugu, avails more business opportunities connecting the industrial cities in the region to the world. These new terminals beat world-class standards with enabling infrastructure that aid air travel, tourism, and the eventual growth of the country's GDP.
Open up commerce and, of course, link us to international societies.
People from international community will come here to do business, and then that will bring in more revenue to the state.
Now, distances can be seamlessly covered as Nigeria keeps raising its bar to suit global infrastructure standards.
Anti-corruption stride in Nigeria. What are the success stories and challenges? Find out on the NTA Tuesday Live this week with those who should know. Tuesday Live, every Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. It promises to be incisive and educative. Join us.
People, they make me laugh when they say 2K, not be money. 2K.
You don't start, you don't start. See you. You never hear of Fidelity get a lot of millions promos season 5 when you say, we just checking it to you go to win plenty millions. All you need to do, carry waka, enter any Fidelity bank, open any Fidelity savings account, collect your ATM, or that account where you get already. Save just 2K. Then lucky winners fit win 1 million naira every month. On top of that one lucky winner will win 5 million naira and 2 million naira for another lucky winner, and 50 winners go chop 10,000 naira one by each. If you put it for 2K constantly, you put it carry up to 10 million naira go house. Oh, work.
My God, it is so. If you like, don't go and open your Fidelity Bank savings account and collect your ATM. So, the more you save, the higher your chances of winning.
I hear what the man.
In Fidelity, we keep our word. Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth entrepreneurship support years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
You're welcome back. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says leaving anyone behind means leaving everyone behind, especially in the global race against COVID-19, climate change, and economic downturns. In a special message to the World Economic Forum Davos Agenda, Guterres made a case for vaccine equity to cover African countries to stop the emergence of new COVID-19 variants, as well as debt relief and financing to developing nations to avoid lopsided recovery from the pandemic.
Rates in high-income countries are shamefully 7 times higher than in African countries. And we need vaccine equity now. Now, all countries and all manufacturers must prioritize vaccine supply to COVAX and support the local production of tests, vaccines, and treatments around the world. Countries are shackled by mounting debt and extortionate interest rates, all but guaranteeing defaulted payments. And many middle-income countries find themselves ineligible for debt relief despite surging poverty, rising unemployment, and development losses.
Guterres said developed countries must match climate promises with climate actions to prevent a hotter, more volatile Earth with worsening disasters and mass displacements.
But other countries face enormous structural obstacles. They have an energy mix that relies on heavy dependence on coal, and that stands in the way of progress for us all. So they need assistance. Let's not go into a blame and shame. Let's assist, help key emerging economies to accelerate the transition.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has inaugurated an expanded partnership committee on sustainable blue economy. The committee, which is chaired by the Vice President, is composed of state governors, several ministers, representatives of military and security agencies, and other members from the private sector. The committee's terms of reference include providing an assessment of the current realities, opportunities, and challenges for economic diversification and the growth of a sustainable blue economy in Nigeria, as well as identifying and reviewing relevant policies and institutional capacity building mechanisms for blue economy development in Nigeria and others. The blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods and jobs, while preserving the health of ocean ecosystem, It entails emerging renewable energy, seabed extractive activities, and marine biotechnology and bioprospecting. In another development, the use and performance of satellite communications in Nigeria are about to witness a whole new level of upgrade. This is because the federal government, through the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy, is addressing some identified bottlenecks which have over the years impeded the growth of the institution. ICT correspondent Joseph Johnson reports.
Like they say, seeing is believing, and the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Professor Isa Ali Pantami, knows this for a fact, which explains why he is here at the Nigerian Communications Satellite NASCOMSAT for an on-the-spot assessment of the facilities in order to understand the gravity of the challenge plaguing the institution, and of course to also interact with the management and staff of the Nigerian-owned satellite company. He takes some moments to harp on customer centricity, which he says, if effectively adopted, would contribute to the overall success of the institution.
Don't allow your customer to complain about your service. You provide a solution to his challenges even before he realizes the challenges exist. If this issue of customer centricity is the only core value of NICHCOMSAT, and the entire staff of the parastatal are willing to adopt it, just 80%, then all the challenges of customer revenue generation of NICHCOMSAT will become something of the past.
This year, significant changes that the old Nigeria will know that yes, NICHCOMSAT is a new company, is going to happen this year.
Members of staff, while recounting Pantami's efforts toward getting the company back on track since 2019, appreciated him particularly for the suspension of the privatization of NASCOMSAT, securing the approval of Mr. President in purchasing new satellites and establishment of NASCOMSAT subsidiaries. Although this is the first time the minister is visiting NASCOMSAT since coming into office, his body language and passionate calls for improved performance underscore the federal government's determination to change the story here for good, as it tags 2022, the year of NASCOMSAT. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
We have Diba Barry in Port Harcourt with trending reports on women and much more. Over to you, Diba Barry.
Thank you, Ayo, and welcome to Port Harcourt. The Nigerian Army Officers' Wives Association is taking steps to equip wives of officers serving in 6th Division Nigerian Army with entrepreneurial skills for sustainability. General Officer Commanding 6th Division, General Sani Mohammed, at the graduation of 50 participants of NAWA program, tasked beneficiaries to minimize the benefits of the opportunity at their disposal. Kingsley Amaju reports.
The objective of the Skills Development Program for wives of officers and dependents of fallen heroes is targeted at economic empowerment of the beneficiaries. This is to help them support their families. The 50 graduates were trained in the areas of catering, tailoring, shoemaking, hairdressing, and ICT.
The Skill Acquisition Center is designed to assist the families of the soldiers, particularly the wives and widows, to acquire skills towards empowering them to attain self-employment.
We also thank the GOC of this barrack for his efforts, for making it possible for us to have something to do in order to help our family.
I am so happy to make this work by myself for this barrack. This is my first experience to do this work.
The General Officer commanding 6th Division Nigerian Army, Major General Sani Mohammed, enjoined the beneficiaries to apply the skills acquired to help improve their family economic fortunes.
Now for the graduating members that are here, clearly in the past 2 to 3 months that you have been here, efforts was made to imbibe some of the skills to you, And I'm sure by the time you leave here, those skills that you have been able to receive is going to go a long way in assisting you.
30 other participants are expected to commence training with the graduation of this set of beneficiaries in Port Harcourt. Kingsley Amajiri, NTA News.
Cross River State Governor Professor Ben Ayade has promised his administration's commitment to reposition sports in the final phase of his administration through the upgrading of sporting facilities as well as training and retraining of sportsmen and women in the state. The governor stated this during an interview in Calabar. Paul Abel reports.
With the inability of Cross River State to host the 2014 National Sports Festival, sports facilities in the state are being in its lowest ebb. But with the renewed vigor of Governor Ben Ayade for work and relaxation to meet at a point, there is massive renovation ongoing at various sporting facilities.
We are making provisions for tourism to strive side by side with business, with industries. Because at the end of your hard work, you also need to relax. The Sports Commission is working very fast on the rehabilitation of the stadium and all the sporting facilities, including the Olympic-sized swimming pool we have in the SONS Stadium in Calabar.
Chairman of Cross River State Sports Commission, who took Government House correspondent around some of the facilities at the UJSWNS Stadium, revealed that the Olympic-sized swimming pool, with the supporting one which was under litigation, is now receiving a facelift.
This swimming pool here, you see, is the best in Africa. This place is the only pool that trains the Nigerian Army, the Air Force, the Navy.
The swimming pools to be launched on 14 February 2022 will perform dual purposes, as it will be open to the public for recreation as well as serve for the training of athletes for competitions. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
We are done here. The news will continue with Ayo in Abuja right after the break. Good evening.
Candidates who are interested in gaining admission into NTA TV College, JOS, for the 2021-2022 two-year National Innovation Diploma Program are to apply for admission through the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB. Courses available for application include film and television production, broadcast journalism, and television engineering technology. Such candidates must have a minimum of 5 O-level credits in relevant subjects, including English language and mathematics. For inquiries, please call 0803-079-5335 or 0806-980-9807. Management Announcer.
From dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, NTA International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk, app for iOS or Android. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
Femi Martins, just look at this. Remember the name.
The African Cup of Nations starts on the 9th of January 2022 on NTA, powered by Afrosports. For sponsorship and advertisements, contact us on 090-9890-6913 or 090-3513-2838.
Glad you're still there. From January 2023, the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, will not accredit any polytechnic that does not have single skills training program as Nigeria continues its journey to attain an entrepreneurship innovation economy. This is the fallout from a capacity building workshop organized for 12 centers of excellence, 6 each from federal polytechnics and colleges of education, designated by the Tertiary Education Fund, TET Fund.
What are those things that are unique areas of competitive advantage that our polytechnics have? And you know that skills development is central. I've invited you here for this 2-day meeting. When you go back to your centers, make a difference.
I'm already seeing a nexus between the university centers of excellence and our polytechnic centers of excellence that would facilitate the delivery of research in universities becoming innovations. The structure of our polytechnic education has not embedded skills acquisition into it. We in fact sometimes look down upon skills, unfortunately. And that is the new currency of labor globally. Even if you don't have any academic qualification, once you have the skills, skill sets, you'll be engaged.
While the 6 polytechnics are accredited on entrepreneurship innovation development, the 6 colleges of education are on teachers training and development. Center of Excellence is an entity of an institution carefully identified in the context of its capability for both personnel and equipments of global standard. Plans are underway to decongest all custodial centers across the country through prerogative of mercy. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, announced this while inspecting Maximum Custodial Center Olomi, Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Kayode Oladoshu has the details.
Inspecting the status of the facility partially completed 4 years ago, an effort put in place by the Ministry of Interior to decongest the 128-years-old Agodi Custodial Center. The minister maintained that he has ordered all the concerned personnel to fast-track the movement of some inmates from Agodi Custodial Center to the new facility.
As it is today, this center can take 800 inmates. So I've directed the authorities of the correctional service to make this place operational by the end of next month.
He notified the public that he is ready to take up a campaign to grant pardon for long-awaiting trial inmates in any of the correctional centers.
We are equally working with the federal, with the Presidential Commission, Presidential Task Force on the congestion of the facilities to use their own office to ensure that inmates who have stayed far beyond the period of incarceration, should they be convicted, we'll get them out as soon as possible.
Earlier, the minister was at the Agodi Custodial Center where he charged officers to be at alert to tackle any attempt to breach the security of the facility with a directive to repel penetration in any of the nation's correctional centers. In Ibadan, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
It's now time to go over to our Benin Network Center where Agatha is standing by with more stories on Nationwide. Over to you, Agatha.
Thank you, Ayodeji, for joining us in Benin. A truckload of psychotropic substances has been impounded and 3 suspects arrested by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Edo State Command. Ifoma Ukafo reports.
Through a tip-off, a trailer load of goods with hidden illicit drugs from Onitsha en route Kebbi State was intercepted at Ewu community in Eastern Central Local Government area of Edo State and impounded by the men of the command. Some of the illicit drugs suspected to be psychotropic substances include 394,480 tablets of tramadol weighing about 90 kilograms, 12,500 tablets of diazepam weighing 2.5 kilograms. Other drugs seized by the command are 999 bottles of codeine-based syrup weighing 135 kilograms and 4,000 ampoules of pentazocine injection.
We have always been saying it, that there is a strong correlation between drug abuse and criminality. Our concern is the effect of these psychotropic substances to the health and to the security of the nation. This seizure is one of the biggest seizures ever made by this command of psychotropic substances.
The suspects were the driver of the vehicle, his conductor, and a passenger.
Based on my ability, I didn't know that this thing has been loaded into my vehicle. I have never seen it. I'm seeing it for the first time.
The suspects will be charged to court as soon as investigations are concluded. In Benin, Ifeoma Okafor, NTA News.
And Edo State government is to begin the process of acquiring lands along the failed portion of the RCC bypass axis on Sapele Road in Benin City. It is to construct a receptacle to address flooding on the highway. Elizabeth Omoko reports.
Edo State government recently ordered immediate rehabilitation work at the failed portion of the bypass Benin Sapele Warri Road after it was barricaded by youths protesting its deplorable state. Few weeks after, following the first rain of the year in the state, a section of the road is again flooded. Governor Gordon Obaseki says he is in touch with the Minister of Works and they have agreed to acquire land where the water flooding the road will be channeled to.
Here to identify the land, some surveys have been done, to speak with them, to see things for myself, and to fast track that process for acquiring and compensating the landowners, and then review the design, which has now been completed by the contractor, now acceptable to the Federal Ministry of Works.
Governor Obaseki also assessed the ongoing reconstruction work at the Salabasa Joe Hospital.
We intend to provide world-class services so that you don't have to travel abroad. How can you afford it? Health insurance.
Governor Obaseki expressed his administration's commitment to building decentralized clinics across the states. In Benin, Elizabeth Omoko, NTA News.
That's our package. Ayodeji is back to you for more on Nationwide.
Thanks, Agatha. Nigeria is now a permanent member of the Voluntary Principles on Security and Human Rights, a global association established in 2000 by the United States and the United Kingdom to cement relationship and put to rest hostilities between operators of extractive sectors, companies and host communities. At the first national conference, which held at the instance of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, speakers say Nigeria is now fully committed in the mandate of the global body in promoting human rights, respecting business environment, and conflict de-escalation in areas where face-off occur due to environmental exploitation. It is also expected to reduce crimes such as vandalism of facilities and abduction of expatriates in some instances.
Such as gas. Nigeria faces energy challenges for which we believe gas can be utilized to achieve the desired mixed energy options. Today, we have gathered from our various constituencies to discuss how we might utilize the VPs as a mechanism to provide mutually acceptable solutions to the security and human rights concerns in Nigeria's extractive industry.
Nigeria launched the working group in 2017, which facilitated the current status in the Association of the Voluntary Principles on Security and Human Rights. Our last stop on Nationwide is in Maiduguri, where Mohammed is standing by with a report on Governor Zulum's visits to primary schools in Borno State. Some obvious challenges there, establishing contact with our Maiduguri Network Center. Let's also tell you at this moment, it's time to go over to our sports desk for sports updates.
The Super Eagles of Nigeria continued their training sessions ahead of its third group game against